Poppy, or, you know, if he feels comfortable going on the likes of, like, a Maokai still there, or if he defaults back to Lee Sin, because Lee Sin's already a champion he's brought out once this split, despite the fact that it's not meta, and did just try and rely on snowballing some early leads for his laners.
Yeah, definitely can be an option to just try and go for just like all-out aggression, try and catch them off guard in the early game where perhaps you can find a window that they're not ready for and go for that snowball. Milio. Actually, yeah, why is Milio still available? It's made it quite far through the draft, surprisingly. Will be banned away. Yumi also available, which, you know, we've got the Aphelios on the side of BLG. Not sure you necessarily want to go against that Yumi.
Yeah, I wonder what BLG are going to go with, because I was going to say we still have On's Rakan, and for anyone who, you know, hasn't seen On, has always been his best champion, even back in the days before he was like this really consistent support player and kind of was heavily criticized. Rakan was always the pick that he was able to show up on. Now we're going to see what he wants to go for here. Things like the Nautilus still left open if they wanted to opt into more engage, but this should be kind of nice. You're already seeing top lane matchup. You can opt into support counter pick and try and end up on a more comfortable side of a 2v2, especially when you are going to lane up against a champion like Draven.
Santi comes on through. Nautilus available if they do want to go in that direction. Blitzcrank would be definitely a different take here from Wink. Aphelios can be a really good target early on, but the thing is he does get the Gale Force a little bit later, so your window to try and punish that Aphelios does shrink throughout the game. But looks like that might be the option with the Poppy coming on through as well for Tianjin, which, you know, does well into the K'Sante, does well into the Wukong. Generally just quite a strong champion at the minute anyway.
Also gives you like a pretty reliable role for Tianjin to play when we said he still isn't really acclimated to the LPL quite well, which is just peel for your AD carry, have that ulti available to kind of whoosh people right out of the fight, and hopefully that impact will again give IG more kind of tools to be able to play around with, to where BLG, I mean, Tabe really is keeping the boys in line, because again, with the amount of laugh smiles we saw throughout the pick ban on the players' faces, Tabe wanting to keep it really stock and standard, and BLG also, again, kind of following what has been the current trends of the meta, rather than opting into anything new, which does lead me to have questions, especially once we see them go up against other kind of top-tier teams, which I don't even know if in their schedule they have any left, so we might even have to wait until playoffs. Looks like they do still play top esports. They play RNG, and WE kind of being in the middle. So maybe we can get some answers to see, you know, if that will be an Achilles heel to them with other picks coming into a bit more prominence, or if them just kind of leaning back on this and these picks that have been strong for months will be enough for BLG to keep just being a top 2 team in the LPL.
I'm going to say the second option, probably. I feel like BLG are... it's weird, isn't it? It's a long time since I remember LPL having like a top 2 that are as convincingly top 2 as this, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see any team taking down BLG right now, aside from JDG.
Even 2020, which I think a lot of people with hindsight, or maybe who weren't following closely, like 2020 would look at as like the year of Tez JDG for the fact that they traded titles. It's like you think of like summer and spring, IG was like a top 3 team. IG, a lot of us, we had as our favorites going into summer playoffs. Suning, obviously, like making deep runs. V5 were so convincing in that 2020 summer split. So a lot of teams like that, to where right now it really does feel like you have these guys and then you have the rest. So yeah, maybe they wouldn't be punished, even if, you know, some newer picks coming in could possibly be better. But we're gonna now see the Draven. I want the Draven to do well, Munch. I love Draven.
Draven loves Draven too.
He does.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see the Draven do well. It seems like there is another audio issue going on with BLG. I saw a ref heading under the desk. And there you go. He's checking stuff. I guess Shun is still having issues. I wonder if it's the same audio issue from before. Yeah. Or maybe he's just showing him his OPGG. It's like, check out these Viego stats.
We saw him
Have you ever seen someone pop off like this?
We saw him spamming some key on his keyboard. Or, you know what would be even more like Giga Chat of him is if he's like, hey, ref, so I know we just did this pick ban, but my coach, I don't like what he picked me. Can I pick again? And then, you know, like pulls out I don't know, something like Shun pulls out something ridiculous, brings out the Nidalee, brings out an Udyr, brings out SOFM, Jungle Zed. I don't know. The possibilities are endless.
Brings out SOFM Jungle Tank Rengar against Tianjin. I think that only specifically works in Worlds Finals against Evelynns. I think that's the one niche situation where that's allowed to happen. I can't believe that's the game that they won. That might be my favorite draft ever in the history of League of Legends. Like, Tank Rengar to answer Evelynn in Worlds Finals. And do you know who was the benefactor of that one? Bin was. Our top laner here for BLG. Got that Worlds Finals pentakill on the Fiora. What a series that was.
Oh, there it is. There's the alligator / crocodile. I don't know which one it is.
Any scaled toothy dudes, love them.
You are an architect with words, my friend. You know, this time it wasn't me who disrespected the BLG day with the Gyos. But you know, I guess that's fair. Since I did it once, you were owed one for yourself. Now, does IG find something? Yeah, probably not with the fact that this has been spotted out. It would take a pretty miraculous hook from Wink or overstep from any BLG member.
I think BLG might actually just be trying to fight them on. Oh, it's a great hook to try and get out. Has flash available for him. Low on HP, but surviving and staying in the fight here as they go back in onto this one. Look at that hook. Max range from On as On chases him down. One or two more autos to do the trick. On gets into the brush and the crying of Moo as Elk gets first blood.
And the big difference makers, look at the minimap. Bin made his way down. YSKM didn't. Now Bin will TP back to the top lane, but setting up your AD carry perfectly and setting a champion like Draven behind. A champion that wants to get ahead, wanted to look for those kills. Now no cleanse, no flash. He's going to be so vulnerable for BLG to try to punish. Maybe an avenue for IG to find their way back in would be like enabling topside, but that's definitely not what the game plan was for IG coming into this game.
No, definitely not. And, you know, the fact that it's also the Ignite for Wink on cooldown, there is very little kill threat available in this bottom lane out of a Draven and a Blitzcrank, which kill threat is what they do. That's why you lock this lane in. So gonna be a tough first few minutes here with Elk not only getting that first blood, he's not actually spent that gold yet, so that won't influence the early lane, but On having that presence in the bottom side. It's all down to Wink finding some great hooks, especially with the wave crashing in. If you could hook someone under the tower, certainly would change things, but you don't expect Elk or On to be caught out by that.
I feel like now we're kind of looking at if IG can find advantages elsewhere. Like we can see in the mid lane, Cryin, you know, being able to get on wave first, being able to zone Yagao out and start building up a bit of a CS advantage for himself. So maybe that you can combo in when a bounce back does come through to try to find the gank. But it looks like Tianjin still being very conscious about his bot lane.
On's moving up. He's going to be in a 1v1 with a Poppy. That's a level up on him as well. On has no flash available, and Cryin is here too. On surely goes down here. Cryin actually going to flash for this one. Tianjin with a steadfast presence to keep On into play. The shield comes up through. He's invincible. On, no, can he get the anchor? Oh, the Orb of Deception finishes him off. He almost got out.
He almost escaped from that, which is absolutely crazy. And does go down, like, overall a win for IG, right? You get another kill on Cryin. He's already up in CS, but still did have to burn a summoner for it, so you kind of find something. But overall, On just not expecting for Tianjin, I guess, to be leaning towards bot side when they are losing out in that matchup. And now Shun might be caught off guard.
See what YSKM can do here is the buff will be taken away. Shun moving up towards the top side, and with Bin around, just sits around and gets a cheeky bonk out. Here we go, dive at the bottom side. Elk, the target, has flash available and dodges the hook from Wink. That's one, and Elk still walking away here. On tanking the tower, he goes down. It's a double for On, who now On has to body block Tianjin, trying to finish the kill off, but he can't, and Gravitum's in play. They'll finish the kills. It's a 2v3, and they finish all three.
Not able to get the kill. How unfortunate. I mean, fleet footwork, so get some heal from that. The Gravitum buying time for the stun to come through. And my God, if you don't want a game to start with a Draven by him dying level 1 and having no summoners, there's no words for this. There's actually no words for this. We're going to see here, Knockup comes through.
Oh, he hit the wrong player.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like Hook did connect, but not able to connect onto Elk. And then kiting this out on picking up aggro, and then it's here, right? Trying to skirt around, buy enough time for his Gravitum to come through. Does have the healing going on from his potions. Also levels up, which is like just the cherry on top for him never going to go down, and then getting the stun to make sure that the kill goes through.
Yeah, so Wink flashes forward to knock up Elk, but then Tianjin charges onto On instead of Elk. Yeah. So they don't get the stun against the tower. It's a disaster, absolute disaster for IG. And well, 202, 212 on the bottom lane of BLG. They are sitting pretty right now. Boots, he's full tier 2 boots over Ard at this point. That is disgusting.
Yeah, this is hell, this is going to be more of a show than game 1, or more of a, you know, I guess spectacle and like lead that BLG can possibly try to build off of. I feel like it has been a little bit more reckless in the 6 minutes of this game than we saw in game 1, but with bot lane already being at such a deficit, I just don't even know. And for Tianjin, he's just trying to not even double down, right? With him coming bot lane this time, he's trying to triple down on making this play and this pressure bot side work.
On stepping forwards, Wink the target. There's no sums on this bottom lane, and Wink gets rooted up. But Tianjin is here, and it's a great hook from Wink on the target, but flashes back to the rest of his team. And Shun charges forwards onto Arn. They won't commit. Red buff there, crying, moving over, and that's enough to dissuade BLG.
I wonder what kind of cooldown that Graviton was on, or, you know, that could have potentially been a kill onto On right there. Like, I think his cleanse had come up in time, so maybe it wouldn't have been. But now with this cleanse and flash definitely being up, at least a bit more security for the IG bot lane.
That's really rough for YSKM as well. Thought he had an opportunity there. He used the Grandmaster Smite, but Bin just walks on out. Gets himself to safety. So potential ult advantage there for Bin if he can find a window onto YSKM. As Elk will just clear this wave of the bottom side. And, well, when he heads back to base, he's going to have a fair chunk of money to spend. Though I think he has spent a lot of the money that he's earned so far this game. He certainly spent the money from the kills. But it will be a Drake for BLG regardless.
Doing a nice job of using the pressure they've been able to accumulate in the bot lane to make sure this one goes over. Again, the 1 point of pressure for IG has really been crying, kind of finding timings, hovering down more. They obviously were able to find the 1 kill when On made the mistake. But he's really been the one kind of keeping that pressure in mid lane, which, as we saw from the last play, right, made it so BLG had to back off instead of chasing further into that 3v3. But now we're going to have to actually see Cryan link up with the other members on the map, like him, be able to make these proactive roams. But one thing we haven't really talked about this series, game one early game was a great showcase of the vision that BLG have. It's like BLG always knew what IG was doing in game 1, even before the gold lead exploded. Like, constantly IG to just clear out wards. And I feel like it's going to be a similar situation this time. You could see Yagao having 1 ward, kind of spotting out if Cryan made his way down towards bot side, and On going to start trying to control some vision for himself too.
On moving up, spotted on the blue ward. And you can see actually it's IG with very good vision to start us off, but Herald started by Bin here. See the whole gang moving over. Elk resetting on the bottom side and might move over towards that Herald. I guess it depends on if there's a reset from the side of Arn. But no, Elk is just going to make a beeline towards the Herald regardless. He doesn't care if the enemy AD carries coming. He wants to win a team fight right here. On there on the front line. He gets the knockback. Tianjin, the small advantage getting On out of the play. Bin, though, is just going to go down. Just gets slowly but surely shredded. Herald taken by BLG, and kind of surprised to see them not commit to more of a play. But I guess with On not there, they can't start it.
No, and also kind of weird, like you're saying. I thought that BLG would have taken it a bit more slow and play a bit like game 1 in terms of getting that vision control first, but just ignoring all the IG wards, not using the sweeper that On had that whole time. And it kind of made it very telegraphed for IG to go for that play. We also saw the benefit of Tianjin getting his hands on this Poppy, which is, you know, again, regardless of like his experience level or how he's been playing, coming into his first split of LPL, he's always going to be able to find some value with this Poppy pick.
TP being forced out from Yagao as he had to answer the wave up top and then move to the mid lane. So still the advantage on the bottom side for BLG. But hey, IG at least managing to punish a little bit. YSKM doing a lot of work there, but Cryan the one that's picking up these kills. 2 now on the board for him. And we'll see what he can do with that gold. I feel like Cryan is a player that has pretty consistently not been like valued, at least by the English-speaking community. Like the stint on RNG, certainly he managed to kind of make a name for himself a little bit. But even then, I think a lot of people not really favoring him as a mid laner. As the 2 kills, though, we'll see what he can do with them in this one. And certainly in a matchup like this, if you could be the carry that gets IG the win, that'd certainly be a way to put your name back on the board.
It's quite a stark contrast to the reputation he almost started building for himself when he was on E-Star. When you think back, and he was playing things like Cassiopeia, and he was playing like Rumble and roaming down to the bot lane with Wei, and really being one of the main pillars for that E-Star team's run in 2020 spring. And now has always been more of a facilitator. Has had some good games, like especially, I really feel like he's been one of the more consistent members on this IG squad. Is Tianjin? I guess I don't know if it's Tianjin being caught out or Yagao, because they're both kind of like pinching on each other.
Yeah, Shun jumps over the wall here. Cyclone going to come out, but it's Yagao caught, and Cryan gets a 3rd kill for himself on trying to survive. Flashes over the wall, but Elk doesn't have the damage to finish anyone off. And in the meantime, Shun's gone down. IG might just do it, but Cryan doesn't have any mana to work with. Elk, many chakrams flash available. Tianjin over the wall. If he gets caught by Calibrum, might just go down to an auto war 2 as YSKM gets pulled back by On. Now slammed into the wall. Can they finish the kills? Elk gets one. Flashes out to safety. Into the brush he goes, but YSKM shuts him down. And finally, IG find themselves a lead.
The leap strike coming up right before he would lose vision of Elk. And this is exactly what you need for IG. Committing YSKM down with the TP. Bin still going to be on cooldown. And now gold lead finally being in IG's favor. 1K gold up. We're going to go to the replay and coming in with joking, right? Like, who is pinching who in this moment when both teams are kind of looking for the engage? IG able to commit onto Yagao first, which is really the big difference maker. Great knockback coming out from Poppy. And here, I was a bit more surprised that BLG didn't win on the spot side fight. They had the perfect combo onto the Draven, but didn't equal out into anything. And then as we see here, the difference maker really being YSKM committing with his TP. And right, it's going to take a bit more time, but oh, Herald coming out.
Yeah, playing the mid lane here is, oh, good hook from On to keep himself close to that wall. And we keep on seeing this Nautilus as kind of the answer to the Blitzcrank, where you can tank the hooks and pull yourself back out to safety. Oh, but YSKM, while all of that's going on in the mid lane, gets some more time on a tower. YSKM is getting huge in this game.
And now I guess IG showing us why. You know, they're a team who were able to take down LNG in their recent series. And then not just being a fluke of LNG having a bad game. But we'll see now if Cryan can escape.
Calibrum's there. Gravitum not going to be used. In fact, it was still Infernum at the time. It's been pulls YSKM underneath the tower. Oh, it's disaster for YSKM. It's been looking so good, but Bin, you give him a split second and he'll take you apart. Now BLG with Drake in pocket can move towards this bottom lane. Might look for On here, but it's like, no, just going to push the wave for now and maybe look for a dive because Yagao's here too.
They're going to go for it. Cyclone is up for Shun.
Whirling Death stops the minion wave, though. That should be enough. They can't really just brute force this one, but actually, with Tibbers, maybe they could. Yagao could use Tibbers to tank the tower first. As
TP coming.
TPs, it's a 5-man dive in the bottom lane. Moonlight Vigil comes across the Infernum, is there, but IG are doing a good job of defending this one. Bin actually goes underneath the tower anyway. On so low, finally taken down, but it's 1-for-1. Tibbers used to tank. They're moving forwards, but I don't think they can keep going with this.
No, not going to be able to go through. And now 7-7. They still want to keep pressuring bot to make sure some plates go down. And to kind of recenter us, right? Because it's been really hype. It's been back and forth. We need to remember, it's a bit weird that BLG are starting to lose fights. But BLG at least still have a comp that, you know, can scale, can play out later. IG do too, you know, having something like the Jax and the Poppy. But, like, any type of early game lead for either side, I guess, as we've seen so far, isn't really the end-all be-all in terms of the compositions coming through.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. YSKM does answer. Tower on the top side as well. We have a banging early game here for ourselves between these two teams. IG, I'm so glad they managed to come back in this series. This YSKM, I wonder what happened for him to... Oh, what a bait from Bin.
Yeah, beautiful. Flash into the ulti, brings him under turret, and then just keeps kind of just, you know, punching him down. We're going to see here. They try to go for the dive with 5 members, but the TP coming out from Cry makes it a 5v4. And Papio, once again, you send 2 members flying right off the bat. Wukong and Annie both being taken down. And then we're going to see Tianjin.
Oh, we're back to live, and Shun's been pulled in here on getting... No, it was actually just the clone is crying now, trying to escape the Cyclone onto Tianjin. Elk separated by YSKM, but the rest of the team moving over to protect the Aphelios and force this Jax out. Shun, though, has been abandoned by the rest of the squad, and he'll go down, crying with his 4th kill of the game, as now YSKM and Wink kind of counter synergy has been actually pulled to safety by Wink.
1 member down for the side of BLG, but they're still going to keep up the siege in mid. Oh, not even just a siege. Looking for a dive.
They can go for this one. They can go for more here. Wink goes down the route onto Arn as well. This will be Arn's 4th death of the game as YSKM comes in behind, but pulled away by Bin. It's a kill for Yagao, and what's been such a close, even game ends up with 4-0 in favor of BLG.
How do we have another game like this going on today? Now BLG going to be able to push down another structure for themselves. Gold lead was just in favor of IG only a few minutes ago, but now BLG bringing it back. They're the team that's been up 2 Drakes, and now with a 6-1 and 2 Aphelios, maybe they can push it into a 3rd. As we're going to get a replay of just the last little bit we saw, right? Going in, great ultimate coming out from the Nautilus to get the 3-man knockup. And then they're able to zone in on the Ahri, bring him down. And Bin, what a homie, bringing the Jax away from his AD carry to make sure that Elk survives. And they're just able to sweep through the rest of that fight.
Yeah, Elk and On both getting away by the grace of, not God, but Bin. Fantastic little all-out there to protect his teammates. And now, 2,000 gold lead for BLG. They've won 1 fight. They got a tier 2 in the mid lane from it. But it's certainly not over just yet. The one concern I have for the side of IG, who, you know, Crying's been popping off. YSKM having some great moments as well. But look where the gold sits for BLG. Elk is 6-1 and 2 on Aphelios. And in the meantime, Arn has been the focus of every single play. He's fallen so far behind in the bottom side.
Yeah, he really hasn't even gotten to participate in this game all the way from level 1. And now BLG, having the Aphelios, having like a really solid front line, we can see the tools they have for team fights going forward. But still, one of the things that kind of give me hope for IG is the Poppy. As, you know, I've been raving about Tristana today, but Poppy's also on the list. I am convinced that with Yordles coming back in TFT, that they're also just becoming OP in the meta. With the amount of, like, strong dash champions that there are right now and how much Poppy not only provides for a team, but shuts those down, I mean, it makes sense why so many teams just opt into banning it in, you know, phase 1.
Yeah. I mean, are you suggesting that Tianjin is currently a level 4 Poppy? Is that the direction we're going with in this one? As she drops the Herald down. We'll look for a tier 2 in the top side. Cran here to try and force it in as well, but I think Bin should be able to defend this one. Generally, hang on, they're going to knock everyone away. Elk is here too. IG have committed to this play. The Herald will be cleared though. They can't quite finish the tower.
No, not going to be able to. Dragon's still going to go over. And what I'm trying to say is that Tianjin has tried to play Slayers, tried to play like, you know, Noxus 3-star Cat and Draven. None of it's worked out. And then he came in, he got unstable Yordle portal or whatever it's called. And now, you know, he's having a bit of a chiller time than he's had thus far. I don't know if you played a bunch of the new set yet.
I played a little bit of the new set. I'm a big fan of the Deadeye trait. I like people just like blasting in all different directions. It reminds me of the Danny DeVito thing where he's like, anyways, I just started blasting. That's my angle so far with TFT, but can't say I'm a big player of it as Wink gets knocked up by the Cyclone here. Yagao on the scene as well, but YSKM has the stuns. Elk the target, but he's surviving for now, for surviving forever. It's a triple kill on the Aphelios. 9-1 and 2. Elk, take a bow, my man. You get the MVP. As On looks for more, but just hooks the wall instead. I might have just killed himself, but he survives. He hooks the wall again, and he still gets out with his life.
In the past minute, we have not seen either support land their hook. Big shout out to Elk for being able to survive that one. But also, you know what? Those hooks might not have connected from On, but we love the mojo behind the plays that he's looking for. What a timeline we're in, where mojo is a fitting description for how On plays the game, but I am all for it now. 5K gold lead, 9 kills on the Aphelios. Soul point in hand and Baron up. I'm afraid for IG is, look here, both not able to connect, but still, Wukong goes in. It looks like the Jax almost turns it around, but he doesn't get on to the Aphelios right away with the stun, and then he Gale Forces away, and Bin once again pushes Jax further away from the Aphelios. That allows for Elk to keep just dominating the team fight.
The zoom in slow-mo on On's last hook there. 3 hooks, 3 misses. Beautiful little team fight from On there. I don't know how he got away with that. I don't know how he survived that entire time. It's now BLG start to muscle into the top side of the map. They'll start to get vision control around the Baron area. 5,000 gold up at 20 minutes. It's not as tremendous as the first game, and IG have certainly been showing something. Crying as well, keeping our eyes on him as he finds the charm off of Wink's beautiful hook, and On finally gets a cash in. Oh my god, Elk's damage, what is that?
And just too big at this point. 2.5 items, has the last Twister making his way towards his own LPR, and now having the Caliber, I'm going to be able to output damage from across the screen. And now, kind of looking at it, at least we're at a point where some of IG's sums are coming back up, right? Like both On and Cryin having flashes available. But with Cleanse still on Elk, with Flash being up, with Gale Force being back, and seriously, with how superb Bin has just peeled for Elk this game, he consistently is just bringing people further away from his AD carry. I don't know how you even reach this Fed Aphelios.
They are on a ward. There is full vision of this for IG. We'll start charging forwards. They're walking past wards on the other side as well, as Yaga actually gets hooked in, but he's got a Zhonya's. It was all a bait. Yaga will survive, and there's a hook onto On as well, who will be Gale forced on by Elk and finished off. Now the rest of the fight is Bin goes 1v3 on the backside, but he's K'Sante. It just doesn't matter. He's the new Ornn. He fulfills every single role in the game. As now YSKM Crying, stepping up the solo lane, is trying to make miracles happen. A TP coming out as Yagao rejoins the fray again. And BLG can just rinse and repeat this Baron.
Yeah, gonna move right back onto it. No jungle, low health bars. IG really have no way of even trying to be an annoyance here, like we've seen in past games, right? With like 2v4s, 2v5s coming in. I believe it was top esports with things like the Azir and like, you know, whatever late game scaling AD carry. Not able to do that with a Jax and an Ahri to try to pull it through, but Yagao gets hooked, but he actually takes pretty much Wink's life with him, has the Zhonya's, so he survives. And then it's On, flashing in, gets on top of the Draven. Elk able to follow, but Bin again, and the amount of K'Santes we see just get onto key carries, bring them out of the fight, and really just take over. It's kind of crazy that we come in under this patch where he gets a very, 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 very slight nerf. But I feel like we're seeing K'Sante more now than we were before, and we're seeing him do better now than we were before.
I feel like we've got to the point where every top lane in the LPL now knows how to use and abuse the K'Sante. I feel like K'Sante was already really good, but people hadn't like mastered the playstyle just yet, because it is slightly different to the playstyle of a lot of other champions. But I feel like we've got to the point now where, you know, players like Bin are so proficient that it really is just obnoxious how strong the champion is. On trying to tank the hook there, doesn't even need to. Still gonna hook himself to the wall. This is sole point for BLG. IG, potentially last chance saloon here. You really can't be going up against Bin with a Mountain Soul.
No, and here we go. A lot's going to be on Tianjin to just find the steal, because I don't know how they just outright take the fight. Hook comes through.
Yeah, On actually hooking himself a little too early there, but the keeper's verdict does not connect the way that it wants to, and the hooks come on through. There goes the Blitzcrank, but now in goes Jack. Can they find this fight? 2 for Elk so far, and he'll make it 3 as well. Bin doesn't even get to pull him over the wall because Elk shreds him too damn quick. A quadra kill as if he needed it. Can the steal happen? Tianjin still here over the wall, does not have vision. Oh, Hex Flash is not going to be enough because Elk wants the pentakill, chases him down through the jungle, hunts him and finds that pentakill.
Elk making the argument that he is the actual best AD carry in the LPL, taking over the game, been taking over all split long, and it's great to see from BLG to, I mean, again, you look at this game, and they've kind of taken even more liberties, had even more fun than they did in Game 1. And I guess it makes sense after such a dominant showing in Game 1 that they kind of would come in 15-1-3 now on the Aphelios and be even more willing to opt into the brawls. It's sad, Munch. It's sad that JDG just so perfectly has BLG's number, because like a back and forth banger 50-minute 5-game series, 50 minutes every game would be so great right now. This was a bit disappointing for Tianjin. You're already falling behind. It's kind of the one thing we've said, that you'll always be able to bring value. And with that, they know they get to pull the trigger. Bin just automatically going in. We see the Jax trying to buy space, but it doesn't matter. Too much damage done. You know, the Draven already taken down. I agree. It's kind of funny that Bin been trying to bring him over the wall. He's already gone.
Entire replay. I don't even know how he got 4 kills. I only saw him kill 3 people. I think his turret must have finished someone. It's a pick onto Yagao. What can they do with it? Great little kill. Wink getting the kill credit on this one as Crying gets knocked up, and they found out. No! Tianjin, no! They had the pick onto Elk, and he saved him.
Not able to find more off of that one. Elk gonna walk away feeling quite lucky, but as a whole, I think BLG gonna be very frustrated that they're not just ending the game off of this push right now.
I actually can't believe that's just happened. 15-1-3, 700 gold shutdown, and Tianjin just punts it away. Oh man, that is he's gonna remember that one. He's gonna stay up awake at, like, you know, you have that embarrassing moment from school that late at night you think about and you're like, oh, that was a bit awkward. Well, Tianjin just did that, except in front of 100,000 people on the Chinese stream.
I just hope that Tianjin kind of like sticks around after the split. You know, we get to see maybe like some growth like on, and it's not like a Shubin or Mitsuki where he comes, plays for one split. It, you know, has moments like this because you are a young new player, and then disappears into the ether. So, yeah, let's hope for that first one, that he improves, and that in the future we get solid Rengar gameplay.
Was it Mitsuki though that left the LPL not because he didn't want to be picked up by a team, but because he instead had a career in modeling?
Modeling, yes.
Just went on to be a top model in China instead. I mean,
he's apparently back playing League. I think he joined.
Oh, really?
He joined an LDL team recently. I can't remember which one, but he's apparently back.
Oh, that's exciting. Maybe
Made his
he'll
millions.
rejoin the LPL as well. And here we go. Final dive comes through. Yagao finds Crying, and he just gets bopped.
The Aphelios is gone.
Not in the fight. Everyone got knocked away by Tianjin. Bit of redemption on this one, but pulled back in, and Yagao and Tibbers are just going to finish the job anyways. Bin pulls on back into the fray. They don't need an AD carry. Who needs an AD carry? Sure, he may have 16 kills worth of your gold, but they don't need him to win the fights. 24-11. As BLG, honestly, just massacre IG in this series.
I gotta say, like, we already know MVP is gonna be Elk, but I wouldn't even be that mad if they gave it to Bin. Like, my God, the amount that Bin did, like, in these fights was absurd. Hell, even in that last one, like you said, Aphelios gets completely yeeted out of there. And what's the reason why IG aren't able to turn the fight around? Because Casante's just in their face. As always, like 1v3, making sure that no kills can go through. But, you know, regardless of who gets credit for the win, BLG as a whole, I mean, just, again, looking so locked and loaded. I really, really hope that we do get, like, a full best of 5, or screw it, best of 10 against JDG. No mental collapse. Like they come in prepared, and we actually get to see these two teams like fully duke it out, because it would just be so fun. It would be so fun.
I'd be very surprised to see a mental collapse from either of these teams, honestly, just because I feel like the two squads are both in good spirits, and despite the amount of times that BLG have lost to JDG this year, which is kind of an unprecedented amount of games against one team in one split, they still seem like they're in high spirits. They still seem very confident moving forward in the year. And it doesn't seem to have deterred them from playing the way that they play. So I really feel like I might be jinxing it as I say this, but I actually feel confident for probably the first time ever where we've got two massively top teams in the LPL, and I don't feel like either of them is at risk of just randomly starting inting or mental booming or anything like that. These two teams feel incredibly stable in a way that quite often you can't say about top LPL teams.
I 100% agree. I guess in the context I meant tilting of like BLG tilting within a series against JD Gaming.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I mean, no, still great point that, hasn't really been talked about much, that honestly, the two most stable teams we've had as our top teams in the LPL for a long time. Despite us representing the LPL, over the years, it's made sense to me, like, when you have these teams in the LCK making, like, near-perfect runs in their region, and why fans and pundits do favor them going into internationals, right? And then you look in the LPL, and you have, like, the top esports and, like, these, and it's like, okay, I get it.
Brawl.
Yeah. To where now, it's very interesting to have teams that are so consistent, but also both can have like funny games within the game itself. Like they're going to give over dumb kills, so they're going to give over these moments. But a lot of the times it's because of how dominant the game is already going, which is kind of wild to think about.
Feels like most of the time it's like, okay, we've won this one. Let's have a bit of fun on the way, kind of thing when it comes to these top teams, which is just insane that you're smurfing in the most competitive league in the world. It says a lot, doesn't it? But yeah, fantastic to see. I think the only other team in my recent memory that has been like consistently has been a top team that you can trust in has been EDG, right? When they went on to win Worlds, I feel like EDG that year, I don't think there was any risk of a mental boom or anything. They felt extremely drilled, extremely consistent in a way that honestly JDG do now.
It was interesting because I remember like EDG didn't feel like the best team at the time, right? Because that was when FPX collapsed and FPX did look like the best team. And I remember I still predicted RNG to go even further. But the point was that even if their EDG's height at the time wasn't the highest that we'd seen that split, it's that they were always like batting a 9, they were always hitting a 9.5. It didn't necessarily need to be a 10 every time because you knew it was never going to drop below that 9.5. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this because I'm kind of scared. Everyone who watches LPL knows the playoffs are a different beast. And being like this confident in what team should make it into finals going to playoffs just feels like new territory that Munch, I don't know how we handle. I don't know how we handle this. Are they gonna betray us? Are they both gonna collapse? Is that what's gonna happen?
It was top esports versus JD. Wait, no, that's JDG's one of the two top teams. It was EDG RNG all along.
Exactly, right?
RNG actually looked pretty good. EDG, how is this the timeline? The RNG looks better than EDG right now. When you look at those two rosters, that is
Tangulen's goated.
I don't know. LPL this year is really like perplexing me. It's a strange one. It's a strange one. We're gonna head over to the stage. It's BLG day. And BLG managed to get their win. So let's head over for a BLG interview.
Hello there, welcome to post-game interview. I'm Christina. We're joined by Xun, the jungler for BLG. Congratulations on your very clean and very solid 2-0 victory. I know you guys must think that you can take down this game 2-0, but from your perspective, what do you think of your performance and your team's performance overall today? 欢迎Xun来到我们的赛后采访。恭喜 BLG 在今天的这场比赛当中2-0成功拿下了对手。虽然我们知道可能赛前很多人都预测赛果也是2-0嘛，那么想问一下Xun，觉得自己在今天游戏中自己和队伍的表现怎么样呢？
就大家整体表现都特别好吧，然后也是发挥得很好。
Overall, I think we team performed much better and we're in the great form. And coming to some in-game content, I know you guys snowballed the game very smoothly in Game 1, but coming to Game 2, your opponent just made a level 1 invasion to your jungle. Did you expect that they will make this invasion and how did you guys manage to fight back? 那么其实今天第一局是一个比较稳扎稳打的滚起雪球嘛，但第二局的时候，可能如果说要出乎意料的点的就是对面在1级有一个入侵你们野区的操作，队伍这边感觉处理的还是很到位的，是提前有预料到吗？
因为就他们当时选的阵容会比较1级比较拼嘛，所以会觉得他们当时1级会进野区，然后我们也想好了把上单喊过来跟他们打。
Actually, we have expected that they will invade our jungle in level 1, and we call our teammates top laner for help because you know that our opponent got very aggressive draft because they are very aggressive in level 1. Because of the draft, we have really expected this level 1 invasion. And still in game, you got Wukong for 2 games in a row today. And coming to meta, patch 13.12. What do you think of this meta in terms of jungler's role? Because we also see there are very creative champions in recent LPL stage. From your perspective, could you please elaborate it for us？ 那么想问一下，现在我们来到了13.12版本，想问一下勋选手作为打野，你觉得这个版本对我们 LPL 舞台上的这样一个习惯有没有什么影响呢？会不会看到这两天看到一些新东西的打野？其实我们在最近的比赛当中也会比较关注这一点。
就我觉得这个版本可能对于 LPL 来说 ，LPL 的打法可能更适合我，因为下路的应付会比较多一点，然后打架也会更激烈一点。
I do think this meta suits to LPL very well, especially, according to the LPL's play style. Maybe there were much engaging support here, so I think this meta really suits us very well. And a final question for you: you've got Nightwish here, and you have still six games to play in regular season. You guys did a perfect job, and you managed to maintain your form very well. So in the second half regular season, what's your goal, and what's your goal for the summer split overall? 那么最后一个问题。接下来呢 ，BLG 在常规赛还有6场比赛要打。其实我们看到从 MN 赛回来之后 ，BLG 保持状态一直特别好，并且也在不断的持续的进步和成长。接下来的6场有没有什么感受呢？以及是对于整个夏天对我的目标又会定在哪里呢？
就希望和队友打好接下来每一场比赛吧，然后全力以赴，争取拿个好成绩。
I really want to do my best and try to perform better in the upcoming matchups with my teammates, and I hope get a better result in this summer. Thank you so much for joining us. 谢谢勋来到我们的赛后采访。Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Christina, and Shun, of course, as well. Always great to hear from him. And fantastic series from BLG. Shun, especially in game number 1, we finished like, what, 8-0 and 9 or something like that.